You know the drill. Hit up my Patreon to vote in new content, get early access to everything, and get your name read out and more. Link below, check it out. How Bakugo puts this, but more importantly, getting to witness what led to the events that happened at the end of the last episode is much appreciated by me. Oh, warmed my heart seeing how happy everyone was to hear this news, because we never saw anything about that during the first video. Too long to show, but very clever how they managed to trick his system, all by making it as real as possible, basically, whilst tricking him. Let's do this back! I suppose it's a slight plot hole that he trained himself to do the thing he said he couldn't, but I'm willing to let it go. It's the only way to have made the trap work properly after all. I do love them for this reason though. I'm so in love with how he's written this, to bring back so many characters who were of some level of importance over the course of the story, just like here. Not only does he bring them back for important roles, as I just mentioned, but he delves in even further into their background to make moments like this even more impactful, and that is awesome! Such an amazing thing to say to someone who was really doubting himself when it came down to it, and here he pulled through in the end. Totally take one more there for that too. Right away I was reminded of his personality, and what some might call a flaw, that I just always found to be the height of hilarious. I am so hyped right now, you have no idea! That is so sick! Todoroki and his dad versus this poor little lost soul in their family. Sad, but also hype! Very unlikely to work this early into the season with yet another season yet to go, but you best believe this was a GLPT moment that I never saw coming and thus scored max wins. That's actually getting back-to-back max wins regardless of if it works or not, because again, it was a GLPT on top of another one, and mathematically speaking, that's a fat max wins, baby! It does make me wonder what the hope was here when the villains can break out of them so easily, unless it's down to the heroes now to try and push them into the portals, but regardless, let's go! Oh my god, seeing all the heroes working together to push them back is the height of thrilling right now! It's super brief, but seeing these two working together is also the height of thrilling. So many heights, and normally I'm afraid of them. These guys being the first ones to succeed in their part of the plan. Let's friggin' go! What a great last second twist for Deku to be pulled in elsewhere! Bakugo looking legit concerned for him too. I was hyped before, now it's on another level, as I'm guessing we're going to be getting some large scale battles now in different locations with numerous heroes versus villains. Oh my word, it's so good! Two wins here. Firstly, how the heroes proved that they've been watching and seriously paying attention in order to come up with this very clever plan. Secondly, this is probably the first season I've watched since beating all the Trails games, and my boy here is Zin in it, and also is Randy Orlando's father's voice. So let's go! Trails! Whoop! Bakugo being very clever and immediately giving over the needed information to the leader literally right away. Oh, thank goodness, he's at least with heroes here. I thought initially he was on his own, so that's one thing. However, having said the last win, I totally spaced on how they'd have planned all of their fighting around having each hero there, and so not having Deku now really screws with things. It's too much for me. The fact that this lady is still in the anime. Part of the win is how this is an epic tons of heroes versus one single villain, and the main part is this incredible looking damage effect animation. Tasty looking! They set up an area that works directly against one of his most powerful quirks. Let's continue to go! You can just tell the animators worked their asses off for these battles. Just from the start here. Right away, we're clearly blessed with excellently smooth animation and great angles. For clarity, he basically said if I destroy enough of your ground, your traps won't matter. And then he points out this insanely clever trick of theirs. I love it! Extremely apt! Showing the entire team working on keeping this place going so the fight upstairs can go the easiest possible for the heroes is amazing. How she came up with the whole idea is, again, such a great nod in the direction of all these smaller side characters from all the prior seasons. Just thought that was an excellent example of how they set up the teams to be able to work with one another. He is really coming in handy, and I continue to love his over-the-top ways, and it's so clever how all three of these quirks are being used together to screw him over. It's so clever! That attack, but also that view! That is insane. It's a really rough start to the battle when he's able to pull out an attack that strong on a hero who is herself incredibly strong 3 minutes in. Got me worried now. Just one more quick one, because it shows that he's got enough quirks that he can do things like this, even with Eraserhead doing his thing. At first I thought this was just an insanely long recap, but in fairness, we got a scene where All Might broke down each team and why they picked the locations and heroes for those teams. That was actually really sick. It's so thrilling when it's done like this, and to be honest, I hadn't thought about using Warp to get Deku over there, but now it's like, can they hold off for 10 seconds and survive the fight? And in fact, as he goes on to say, it's even worse than that. Without Erasure, he can use all those hands to destroy literally the entire thing in one go, so they can't do it. That awesome looking shot as they crowd in behind him and his most excellent statement. Another fight starting out super hyped. I remember this guy from, I believe, season 4. That view and attack though. I so love how he's got all of these other quirks within him, but it's interesting how she's not triggering his danger quirk, because it's something a bit different, I suppose. That is so not the reaction I thought would ever get during this battle. You can tell that was ripped right out of the manga and looks so good. Great job by the voice actress too. Same win as the last one. What a great choice to use in the anime, I must say. 2 wins here. Firstly, her not being swayed by a few nice choice words from Deku. Secondly, it's the fresh attacks here, where it looks as though nothing is being repeated at all. Also, credit to the mangaka for having some real genuine injuries land here. I figured Midoriya would come in at the final second and knock it away, but no, she got in the hit. That was friggin' great! She rarely gets many chances to show off in this anime, so I'm glad to be seeing it here. Really nice to see her and Froppy telling him they've got this basically, and for him to make his way over to the location he was originally meant to go to. That was so sick, it's scoring max wins. I didn't even know he was able to use these quirks to now basically fly. I love the idea the mangaka came up with here, that these prior users of All For One are able to speak to him directly now. That's so good! 99% sure I'd have mentioned it when it first came up, but just in case, Jotaro from JoJo, and so many other anime. Dropping this great lore mystery on us out of nowhere, and the knowledge that their powers are growing stronger too. The first time I've looked at Midoriya and not seen a young lad, but instead of man here, funny enough. Glad to hear him say this, because like the other heroes, this is something he too decided that he had to do. Let's just hear it for the animation on moments such as these, man. Like, that's utterly incredible because it's so shockingly smooth, especially on Dabi there. Glad, as shown in the OP, that we're being given yet another look into a younger villain's history and what happened back then that caused their hatred to take root or set them on their path. Like that! That's a horrible sight! Not just giving us that moment in the forest, but going beyond it too. How he came here, how he changed, and also how he got those specific markings and whatnot. The realism behind him not having any hatred of his father upon waking up. In fact, his only wish was to go home. That is actually heartbreaking to hear. A prime example of how All For One operates, how he gets them young and twists them to how he wants them to be, painting himself as the good guy and the heroes as villains early on. Hugely anti-anime there, as I call it. Normally, 99% of writers would have had Dabi turn on his father here. But no, not at all. Right here, he didn't trust his voice at all, shockingly. This is equally as shocking, that his body has been holding together all these years somehow, when it wasn't even meant to last longer than a single month. Is he talking about his own funeral? Wow, way more effort was poured into linking his story into the rest of the main story and his background too than I ever thought the mangaka would. That looks so good animation-wise, and the wording only makes it better. The man who even All for One couldn't hope to control. Showing the All Might statue melting from the heat was a real nice touch. What a great mixture of cracking good voice acting and a brilliant choice of music. The first proper attack from this battle just sadly landed against our side. Giving Max wins there for that. Not only for, again, such great voice acting from Dabi, but because of the content of what he's saying. Because that really was Shoto's original deal to some degree. And another one, this time, just for the incredible looking animation and effects. That they're using this music, which, by the way, is one of my favourites from Season 2, when he fought Midoriya. In fairness, his father did try and take on the fight for himself, but Shoto made an excellent argument for it, really. I love that. Basically saying, as bad as things were, you were the one who decided to do something horrific like that. Bakugo being Bakugo number 2 ago! And take another one for this, actually explaining away how it's basically physically possible that he's able to do this. That is such a great addition to this episode, all brought about by his impassioned words back then. There goes that friggin' music with even more great voice acting, this time from Aron. And that one is so good on both counts that it's again scoring Max wins, baby. Back to back Max wins, because that looks like hand-done flame effects, which to this massive degree is just incredible. That's just the kind of lad he is nowadays. Certainly not who he was in the past, but now, absolutely. Just quickly again, those effects though. You initially think of it as just a class, then I'm glad to hear this, because it truly elevates what it was for him, and maybe for many or even all of them. And of course, another Max here, it goes without saying, for just some of the best animation in the entire show so far. You might just see the flames, but there's so much going on. Using that analogy from before, when speaking to Midoriya here with him, is amazing. Seeing those two as kids again, especially Dabi, that was really well done. Let's hear it for, seemingly anyway, Shoto winning the first of these large battles. Let's go. Getting the official reveal there from her. How his victory gave them the urge to fight on harder than ever to clear their battle entirely and put that one to bed. Take another one for seeing it from their end at the HQ as well. Oh, he's so insanely wholesome! Seeing their collective reactions, but also the shock that they were spot on, that the villains really would attack those containment areas too. Getting to see these other student heroes too, from maybe season 3? That zoomed out shot looking so good and being animated from such a large distance away, no less. That's not a comforting thought. Trust the mangaka to give her such creative ways to fight and defend herself with her quirk? A true bad lad save right there! Doing a callback there was perfect, as was checking us in with different hero groups. The best response ever to someone being a bit too edgy. I can't even. Shocking that so many are going after the hospital location too, like tons of them. This dude suddenly being huge was massively shocking to me. Either I missed that in an earlier episode or his quirk was withheld all this time. And there's my answer 30 seconds later. That's just a straight up lovely thing to say here, and now facing down all these many enemies. Speaking of straight up lovely moments, such a weird but cool demonstration of his various quirks. One of the largest battles now going down. Let's go! A lot of clear and obvious effort is being poured into this battle. You only gotta look at how he dodges and then begins using his own quirk to fight them. All done by hand animation. Literally the perfect follow-up to the last win, my god. Basically everything I said there can be used here except for the dodge. Showing us how he's actually struggling to fight the two of them and how well planned out their coordinated attacks are. I gotta say, I'm absolutely in awe of the fact that all these attack effects were done by hand, and as a result they look so damn good. The war scenes are well done considering it has to be numerous quirks being used and not something more simple like a gunfight. And that's Max wins, because I didn't expect him to fall into the trap or to seemingly take heavy damage because of it, and of course it's for the most excellent looking effects and voice acting too. Who'd have ever thought that these guys could end up becoming so useful as to help in a battle against someone like All For One? feels like they've all come so damn far when someone who was one of the top heroes in the world tells them to stay away and they outright refuse because they know they can do this. It's good to see him using his head so soon after losing it, as it were. It really does continue to make for such a good redemption arc because of it. That's an awesome thing to be called by him. What an insanely creepy as all hell quirk he's got there, but thankfully they work together to dodge it. Those attacks from Hawks both looking and sounding real good. Her giving props here, although I think it should definitely be 90% aimed at Midoriya, who has gone through the worst of it during the entire anime. I hate the guy, but my word, his attacks are so incredible to watch. Like, he's so calm when he talks, but at the same time he's attacking so fast and furiously. Damn, man! Both of them seemingly fairly badly injured by that attack, and in reality, they've only been fighting him for all of a minute or two, I'm guessing. And that one I'm giving max wins to, because I never expected that he'd take all three of them out at the same time there. Those words with that visual make for such a powerful ending. I do like that, her basically casting aside everything he tried throwing at her to cause demoralization, when in reality, right here and now, she's fighting for her friend's sake. Oh my goodness, seriously? I literally cannot believe this has suddenly happened. If this doesn't equal a GLPT, then I don't know what does. That Hawks was very cleverly attacking the same area the whole time. That's another max wins where I come from, baby. They just scored back-to-back max wins now. On the one hand, they scored 3 max wins in a row for all the godliness of storytelling. On the other, I am pained by things not going the way I thought they would. Not only that, but he can reform his bloody mask, no less. He truly lives up to his name as he loses a hand in the fight. Jesus, that is max wins yet again! Getting to see him so much younger here was wild too. And then even younger here! Understanding for the first time just how hard he too had it as a kid, which obviously started a lot of the problems he had in life later on. It created a lot of the weaknesses he had. Too long to show, but I had to give massive props for the outstanding character writing here. In other anime, it'd be a bit fluffy for me. Doesn't make much sense, but this was perfect. Naturally, that scores max wins. The fact that he formed a fist out of fire was sick, and then the punch itself and the voice acting were both top notch. Absolutely brilliant. That was just outstanding looking, and I liked his sentiment as well. He's literally giving his whole to see this through. Everything it takes. Knowing how much this meant to All for One, in terms of how much pain he felt that day, but also how it ruined him and his plans make this even better. There were so many max wins already, and yet they just keep on coming, and purely at the moment for the insane animation. Like, this is godly animation levels. How he basically tells us via this statement that he knows what he's doing gives me more hope that he might actually win this fight. How come the damage effect animation is so good though? I can sense many more max wins potentially coming, but already have one more here for smashing through his barrier, and then that epic kinda continuous motion shot as he smashes him away. This one is for that super quick thinking of him to defend himself right there, and for the Superman eyes, and lastly, I wanted to note the excellent alternate music version of a great song. And then a third one on the bounce for the second time for this hopefully final attack. Loved the whole setup to it too. I couldn't show annoyingly where he described having to beat him for the future heroes and his son and family. That was beautiful. As was the attack itself, man. So damn good. Shockingly, it's a bloody GLPT. I never saw that coming a mile off. That he's still alive, bruh. I can't believe it just got 4 maxes in a row. That was legit very creepy, I must admit. The hands and only the hands. Bakugo's new gear and ability. That was another example where there was so much talking I couldn't risk showing it, but safe to say, Bakugo has grown massively and fully reflected on his past, and it was showed big time here during his equally big attack that scored yet another max wins for this video filled to the brim with max winsies. Albeit a weaker reason to have them there in the hero course, I can win it for being clever that they're the connection between the civies and the heroes. That's pretty cool. Man, oh man, just when I think the heroes are doing something that he cannot come back from, he still managed to basically avoid getting badly hurt, and has now in turn badly hurt Bakugo. GLPT again! Shockingly knowing that he's hitting them with near enough the power of All Might, and I really am hoping that Midoriya is about to turn up any minute now. I really hope so anyway. Oh no, it's worse than that, as I have to wait until the third quarter. Brilliant end to the episode, such a packed video for wins and greatness. See you in the next one. Oh, and before we end, a very simple but lovely new ED there. Really liked the song and how it showed basically every major character throughout. That was awesome, to be honest. Steelers, Doggos for Lunch, Guru Thor, Emerald Ember, JHeart25, Juice, Chrono, The Swedish Muggle, Marcellus the Roman, Nexus 47, AdmiralNugget, Moody Blues, Cody Tiffany, Timothy Wilcox, Curtis Daniels Jr., Tom O'Sandy, Henrik Jensen, Roll Tide Wes, David Frericks, Flaming Blade, Olive Wharf, Furious Mo, Marlon Endress, Salt Lover, Jokerims, Rimuru, Gamer Ludwig, Onks Khalif, Mushwin, Don, Robert Jackson, Sekomi Ororum, Starkip, Dante's Face, Miran Arjan, Cody Niemeyer, Snowy, Sarcastic Truth, Hit of the Wicked, Thrasher 340, Owen Haloran, Extinct Hero, Alexander Schwarz, Dante Sol, Rodies, Dragon Boy 1, Iso, Cameron, Mudavirum, Tiger Lily Warrior, Knuckle Duster, Christian Toasa, Matthew Barr, Ruby Rose, Ghost Rider 176, Commander Cyrus, Cloud Garden, Luis Minito, Minimasher, Garrett Vermish, Ryan DeViris, Natsu Dragnil, AJoker, Willyman, Laxor, TRS, Liam Gagati, Kai158, Mr. Firecool, Wacky Normal, Zionx44, Lionel Schultz, Kevin Elston, Nozomi, Nick Monaco, Marvin, Sataiku Yari, Divikel, Christopher Willis, Michael Lewis, Cecilia, Nick Wyndham, Slazel, Guru, Cedric, Kevin102, Sean, Darth Weirdo, Dragonstorm35, Cumfreak, Kelnock, Marquez, Q Flash, Brainless Ben, Oliver Smiley Reacts, Your Edvinson, Kepan, Kyle Jones, Peter Milligan, John, The Elementator Wars, Amadillo, Nick Pell, Orkeeper, Jason Davies, Nightly Winter, Matthew Bluntset, Oscar I. Lopez, Jaffa6263, Storm 970, Isel Caldera, Kevin Nalta, Dark Lord Bloody Soul, Stan, Ali50, Birdwithoutaword, Chris Harris, 9028, Headshot Hunter, Brandon Creer,